Yeah.
I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Broome County Industrial Development Agency of September 16th, 2024. Looking for a motion to approve the minutes of our August 21st, 24 board meeting.
So moved.
Thank you, Peter. Is there a second? Thank you, Elaine. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on to public comment session. Anybody wishing to speak on any matter concerning the IDA, please state your name and address for the record and limit your comments to 5 minutes, if you will. We're going to close the public comment session. Executive Director's Report. Stacy, who's joining us online.
Oh, you're muted, stay muted.
Yes, good afternoon. Sorry not to be with you in person. I'm here in Quebec City for the Industrial Asset Management Council Fall Forum. So this was scheduled before we moved our meeting date, so my apologies for not being there in person. But I do have a number of updates, so I will start with some of the easier ones first. First, I just want to make sure, and well, she's in person, I'm not, just to welcome and introduce you all to Gabby Dean, our new executive assistant. She's been with us for about not quite a month, but already doing a fantastic job for us, and we're really excited to have her with us. So you'll see her name a lot moving forward. Couple updates with regard to the Broome Tech Park. We did host our public hearing related to the State Environmental Quality Review on September 10th. I don't know, Natalie, I don't believe the transcript is officially gone out yet, but it's forthcoming. If it is not, we will get that to you all. I would say in total, we had about 30 to 40 attendees. Many of them are the same individuals who have voiced concerns on the park. The hearing was related to the draft scoping document, so we did receive some very good questions on the draft scoping document that we will incorporate to our review. That we are in a public comment period until September 24th. And from there, we will incorporate any comments we think make sense to add to this document and then bring this back to the board for the final scoping document, most likely by the October meeting. So that's ongoing. We are planning to issue, we're just reviewing the first draft. We are planning to issue an RFQ for engineering and construction services for our 600 Main Street, our FAST award. That is to build out and construct a shovel-ready pad at that site with our $11 million FAST award. We're also working with the state on a structure to do drawdowns associated with our line of credit with MBT that the board passed earlier in the year. So that's moving forward. A couple quick updates on projects we are tracking that I would say are a little bit murky right now. Crowley Lofts has reached the 1-year mark on approval of the benefit, which typically is when we check in and identify if we believe within reason the project will move forward. We are planning to invoice our third installment per our new fee structure. That agency fee gets paid down over in quarterly increments, regardless of whether the project is closed. And our conversation with them they've stated to us they are reviewing construction estimates and planning to move forward, but we are watching that one closely, and we'll make a recommendation within the next few months as to what to do with that project. Pilot benefit. One North Depot, as you know, the board had voted to terminate that pilot benefit for lack of progress on the project. And as well, non-compliance. The project does still owe outstanding pilot payments to the taxing entities. We are working with the county to make sure those payments are made, but we are issuing formal termination documents and working to get those payments made on that one. Good news on closing. We are planning to close with Regan Development for Homesteads on Grand in October. So Joe and Susan have crafted the closing docs, or working on the closing docs, and we'll get those out to Regan Development so that we can close on that one. And that's ready to close with New York State as well. So that one's moving forward very well. This one is one that's going to take a few minutes, but it's an important one that I did not want to just add to this agenda because we have a fair amount of items. Town and Country. Town and Country is a project that we had approved a pilot benefit for, I believe just a few months back. It has received the approval from New York State Homes and Community Renewals to receive the low-income housing tax credit, the 9% competitive round. They are New York State, and the developer is still planning to close in October, ideally, or sometime shortly thereafter. But they've come to us recently with some changes to the project that I think will require the process to sort of begin again, as far as a new application and a new public hearing, and then ultimately a new vote on the benefit. And here's the four main changes that are associated. So just as background, the New York State has approved the project for all state financing, including subsidy and tax credits, and ideally would like to close in October. However, changes to the application are mostly numbers driven due to an expanded scope to include further rehabilitation of the property and operations that were reevaluated by the new sponsor team. So there have been changes to the ownership structure, but they have been approved by New York State. The four main changes include a change of ownership. A new owner entity is needed to mitigate environmental issues associated with prior ownership. The pilot has shifted upwards due to this expanded scope. The pilot benefit that was originally approved there's an increase of about $608,000 in additional pilot benefit due to the expanded scope. Development costs have increased by over 10 million, including hard costs and acquisition. Thus also, and all of this does also increase the agency development fee. Sales and mortgage exemption also have increased due to additional development costs. So I just threw a lot of stuff at you. But so basically that's all to say we are looking to get a new application. Natalie's working with the development team on that one. We're hoping to get that within the next few days, which we will issue to the board as soon as we receive that. To keep with the state's preferred closing of sometime mid to late October, this will likely require a special meeting and public hearing, and then approval meeting. Ideally, if we can do it at our regular October meeting, we'll strive for that. I've talked with the mayor of Binghamton. He strongly supports this change, strongly supports this project, and is planning to attend any meeting. So I just want to give you that update. There's a lot involved. I'll answer any questions you may have now, but certainly we'll forward all of this information to you in writing as well, so you have it. But I'm happy to answer any questions now.
No, if we're going to do a new application, then that's fine, and then we can just take it from there.
Yep. Yeah. So there might be a time crunch if we're trying to, to accommodate the city and the state's goals of closing on this one. But they do need significant amount of rehab. So we're happy to see that project advance. So more to come on that one. But I just wanted to give you background before we throw the application and everything at you with a request for a meeting.
So I have a note here regarding possibly holding a special meeting this Thursday at 8 a.m. Does that dovetail?
If we receive a full and complete application, Nat's been working on the application. It had a lot of need for some corrections, clarifications. So she's working on that. So I would suggest that, so if we receive that, we have not yet as of today. As soon as we receive that, we'll work probably from there on scheduling a special meeting just to accept and induce the public hearing, because we're trying to do this ideally in 4 to 6 weeks, if we can.
Okay, so more to follow as it relates to the date.
Yep, and I'll have Natalie and Gabby follow up on any meeting requests, but right now you haven't received the final. You've issued sort of a redlined version and we're waiting on their updated application.
Correct.
Any questions for Stacy on her report itself? Preliminary financial statements are through August 23rd. It's kind of a strange date, but that's purely because of traveling finance people, I believe.
Mhm.
We'll have a,
Gina is
Please.
on maternity leave and we had Teresa Ryan as our interim step back in, but she was also was out of the country. So she did everything she could before she left. So that's why they're through the 23rd. And when she gets back, we'll give you that the remaining financials.
perfect, thank you. And any questions on the loan activity reports for Natalie?
Just quick question on the Antonio's. It continues now. It's 120 days. Do we charge late fees or default interest that adds, so this balance is going up?
It'll continue.
Yes,
The late fees, whatever.
He's
it
still
is.
non-responsive?
nothing.
No, they haven't.
Exactly.
Any other questions on?
But
the
again, it'll be all added in figure.
Crazy.
Any other
That's
questions
not that
on
much money.
the loan activity
It's
report?
not that much money.
But the better.
Crazy.
Okay, moving on to new business, resolution authorizing a leaseback transaction to facilitate the acquisition, construction, renovation, and equipping of property located at 191 Corporate Drive and 196 Corporate Drive in the town of Kirkwood, Broome County, New York, to be used for light manufacturing and storage of finished goods, focusing on batteries and hand pallet trucks, and appointing the Raymond Corporation, the company, agent of the agency for the purpose of acquiring, constructing, renovating, and equipping the project, and to provide for a sales and use tax exemption benefit in an amount not to exceed $1,448,000, and to provide for a real property tax exemption in an amount not to exceed $2,380,110, including authorizing a payment in lieu of tax agreement, the schedule for which is attached here to as Exhibit A, and authorizing the execution and delivery of certain documents with respect thereto. Mayor,
Governance Committee moves it forward as a motion to approve.
thank you. Is there a second? Thank you, Mike. Any discussion or would you like input from Stacy on this project? Let's have a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Carried. Item number 7. Resolution authorizing a leaseback transaction to facilitate the acquisition, construction, renovation, and equipping of property and buildings located in the city of Binghamton, Broome County, New York, to include the substantial renovation of 8 existing residential structures into 19 units of housing and the new construction on an existing vacant lot of an additional 19 residential units and 2 commercial spaces, all to be located at 20 Winding Way, 27 Dickinson Street, 41 Clinton Street, 241 Front Street, 274 Front Street, 276 Front Street, 10 Mather Street, 242 Front Street, and 251 Front Street, all within the city of Binghamton, Broome County, New York, to be known as the First Ward Gateway Revitalization Project, and appointing the First Ward Action Council, Inc., the company agent of the agency for the purpose of acquiring, constructing, renovating, and equipping the project, and to provide for a real property tax exemption in an amount not to exceed $216,197, including authorizing a payment in lieu of tax agreement, copy of which pilot schedule is attached here to as Exhibit A, and authorizing the execution and delivery of certain documents with respect thereto. Mayor.
Governance Committee moves it forward as a motion to approve.
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a second? Jim, thank you. Any discussion or questions for Stacy on this topic?
Yeah, just a quick question. We discussed at the last meeting, maybe getting a map. Yeah. Like a GTI.
Oh, you have one?
Oh,
I was just,
okay.
yeah, I was actually just gonna tell you that. Yes, it was in the packet and then I did provide it in all your folders.
Oh, you did? Oh, it's in
Yes.
here?
Yep.
Right. Yep.
Any other
Thank you.
questions?
Yes, you are.
Thank you.
Let's have
Natalie.
a vote. Say what?
She just thanked me.
Oh, I just said thank you, Natalie. Sorry.
Let's have a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Carried. Item number 8, resolution accepting an application from the Lane Group of New York, or NY LLC, the company, for a leaseback transaction to facilitate the financing of the acquisition, renovation, and equipping of the property and buildings situate at 435 Main Street, Broome County Tax Map number 143.55-1-57 and 435 Main Street rear. Broome County Tax Map number 143.56-1-12.111, both located in the Village of Johnson City, Town of Union, Broome County, New York. To provide for a sales and use tax exemption benefit in an amount not to exceed $560,000. To provide for a mortgage tax exemption in an amount not to exceed $160,500. To provide for a real property tax exemption in an amount not to exceed $3,131,208. And to authorize the agency to set and conduct a public hearing with respect thereto. Mayor, this came out of governance?
Yes, governance moves us forward with the motion to approve.
Is there a second? Thank you, Elaine. Any discussion or initial questions for Stacy?
Yeah, actually, just a quick one. Do we know what the size of the apartments are gonna be? How many square foot?
I think they are probably, I'm trying to think, there's this layout. I know they provided a fair amount of layouts in
Yeah, if it's on there, it's too small to see. No, but it's not a big deal. I
Yeah.
just was curious.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we'll go through their presentation, which I know has, and is there no, Natalie, is there no representative? I know they were opponents
No.
or Annie represent, they were supposed to be here, but well, let me see, I did just find some of the schematics. But I don't see that breakdown, but we can get that for you and email
yeah, I'm
them.
just curious. It's not a big deal. This is 100% market rate, right?
It is.
Okay. Do we
It
know
is.
what the rents are gonna be? We should know that.
The rents, my understanding is that they will be somewhere in the range of 1,000. They wanted to price some at what would be considered a lower market rate value now. To I believe up to 1,800, but we'll get you the actual rent rolls on that one too.
I think the plans in our packet don't show the dimensions of the apartments, but list the gross square footage. And they range from give or take 500 to around a little over 1,000.
500, that's not much for
Records.
market rate.
Efficiency.
Like a studio
Yeah,
apartment, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, and there was some confusion because this does have some DRI award, and there was, the narrative was they were calling it affordable, but what they mean by that is affordable market rate. They're not planning any housing tax credit programs. They are planning, as far as state incentive, historic tax credits, and they have the DRI, and I do believe they are in discussion. It's connected to the commercial user, which should be voted on this week, which is a nonprofit, strong user, strong tenant, and connected to workforce training as well. I believe there is some remaining ARPA dollars, and Greater Binghamton Fund dollars that should be outlined in the application as well.
Yeah, if those rents are correct, I'm glad to hear that, because I think there's really a need for that middle income type of housing.
Yes, agreed. Yeah. And this, it was a well-received project by this Department of State for the DRI. So I envision that will be one that will advance, barring any unforeseen challenges. It should be a strong project for the DRI as well.
Any additional questions for Stacy? Let's have a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm abstaining.
Thank you, Peter. Motion carried. Moving on to an executive session, looking for a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel matters.
If I may know, in addition, I don't know if it's on the revised, also the potential disposition of property.